Hello and welcome to my recording for Combat Space Enhancement Medical Systems for ArmA3. Combat Space Enhancement Medical System is normally found on Milsim servers. You can probably find it on a few other servers as well. It's a mod that basically enhances the idea of medicine within ArmA3. Most of us are probably familiar with the medkit and personal aid kit that are fairly simple to use, take a few seconds, and basically detract from the point of being a medic, unless, of course, only medics can use them. CSE basically has a whole new layer and whole new level of medical expertise and just everything else of the sort. Generally speaking, what you'll find on a public server, public Milsim server, which is kind of what this is for, is the basic combat space enhancement medical system. So it's nothing too complex. It's fairly easy to learn, but obviously, of course, you'd probably like to know before you actually have to do it. So this is basically what this video is for. And for anyone else who's just interested in what CSE is, which I'm also going to provide a link down below to help guide you guys towards the CSE wiki and the CSE website to kind of see what it's all about. Anyway, this is for CSE basic, so nothing too advanced for medical on regular difficulty mode. So basically fairly simple basic stuff that you'd see on a Milsim server. This is going to kind of get you set up. So this is what a CSE medical crate looks like. It's basically the exact same thing as all the other support and ammo crates, the smaller ones. Looks the same, has the explosive logo on it, which is kind of funny, considering it's medical. Basically, the only real way you can tell is by when you click in and go in and take a look at the contents. Normally they're all 25. I've already taken all the supplies I need. I normally take 15 basic bandages that are used for small and medium wounds. You generally only use them for small and medium. You use them for small and medium. You don't normally use packing bandages, which are used for medium and large for medium wounds, just generally because you want to save them for the big wounds when it really matters. You normally take around 10 of those, which is what I've done. You can take a tourniquet with you. It's just kind of used when you're going to run out of or plan to run out of bandages, and you kind of need to wait for a resupply from, say, another medic. You'd use these on the limbs, and I'm going to get to kind of how to utilize them later. A splint, it's useless for basic medical because it doesn't normally have advanced injuries. A splint would be used for something like a broken leg or a broken arm, which can happen if your guy falls from a height. That won't happen when you got basic CSE running on the server, so you don't need to worry about carrying that. Plasma, not very useful unless you're like a hardcore medic. Blood, don't bring unless you're like some kind of parajumper or something that gets to stay inside of a helicopter where you can keep blood cool. If you don't, they're all going to die, all the little blood cells, and then you're basically going to be injecting someone with 1,000 milliliters, for example, of dead blood cells, which God can only imagine what that would incur for health. You bring saline is what you bring instead. So I normally, if you're being a ground pounder, bring two 250 milliliter packs of saline IV and one 500 milliliter pack of saline IV, which is currently what I've got. I also decided to bring a 1,000 milliliter pack of saline IV, just for the sake of it, because I don't really know specifically how many people I'm going to put down when I get over there to the firing range, which I'll talk about later, the unethical firing range. Generally speaking, you don't really need to bring a ton of morphine. I brought 5 morphine injectors. You don't normally need a ton. You normally just use them once, and it's to get someone up. You don't normally use them in a combat zone just because you've got a little bit of pain. I'll get to that later. Epi, generally speaking, you want to bring a ton because you might need to use a ton to increase heart rate, especially if it's down really low at like 8. I'll get to later that. Autotrophin you don't need. That's for nuclear, biological, and chemical scenarios. Chances are, if you're on the public server, they're not going to have any NBC. Not going to need, not going to need, not going to need, not going to need, not going to need for basic medical. And I'm not going to explain how this works because this is obviously just for basic medical stuff, but they're not important. You won't need anything in this section. Personal aid kit, bring. They can be disposable or they can be infinite, which means you have to pack as many times as you want to actually stitch up someone else and give someone else advanced treatment. So you might need to bring a few of them, which is actually what the server's set to right now. It's not really a server, actually. It's just my personal on-computer one. You're going to need that to stitch up other people. You can't stitch up yourself, though, as far as I'm concerned. Surgical kit, it's used to treat other people. You only need to bring one. Sometimes, though, you only need to bring one personal aid kit, which is generally the situation. So just bring one of that normally. Anyway, we're going to go up here, and we're going to load up in this Humvee, and we're going to go down to my unethical and inhuman firing range, which is just horrible. I feel bad. Should never shoot civilians, but hey. they don't fight back, which is kind of good, because if I were to shoot blue 4 troops, they get utterly murdered, and if I were to obviously shoot the enemy, I don't think I could revive them anyway, and if I did, they'd probably step up and kill me. So we're not going to do that. So we're going to use this guy as a test subject. One shot with an M4 should be good against someone with no body armor. We're going to drive over there really quick. We're going to give him some medical. He's probably going to be a little banged up, obviously, with no body armor and getting shot by an assault rifle. Generally speaking, doesn't turn out too well. So we're going to rush over. Oh, this guy seems to be up. So this is actually going to be a good example of someone getting shot, like your friend or something, instead of a combat zone. So we're going to do medical on this guy. So he's in a little bit of pain. You can see he's bleeding and he's in pain and all that other stuff. So the first thing we can check is his pulse. We want to make sure he's not going to drop dead on us soon. We're going to basically check the basics. Here. Obviously we know he's bleeding, so we're going to get him medical as soon as possible. We're going to focus on the torso first. Because if you run out of stuff for the torso, you can always use a tourniquet on like the arm or something. Obviously you don't want to waste time. And I'm going to get to what this means too, this kind of hazy color too. Then we're going to focus on his arm now. So you can see his arm's got a pretty big wound in it. So we're going to get to fixing that with the packing bandage. You can also click on specific ones and work on them. But it normally goes and fixes the biggest one first. For some odd reason it didn't. I don't know why. So that was a waste of a packing bandage. Yeah, so now that this guy's good, in theory we can do something called put a tourniquet on. We would only do this obviously if his limb was still bleeding. I kind of went ahead and took the liberty of patching that up first. You can see that it's on and we can remove it. If you leave the tourniquet on for too long, you can cut off circulation and actually kill them. So we're going to remove the tourniquet right now. It's not needed. This guy's already healed up. We're going to keep checking him. So he's lost a lot of blood now, because it took us a while to patch him up. So we're not really going to focus on anything else but then getting his blood pressure up, which is how we tell. So blood pressure should be 120 over 80. He's pretty much right there, but we're going to give him saline anyway just to kind of show. His heart rate should be 80. It's a little high, but that's fine. He just got shot. So we're going to give him some saline. So we're going to go into advanced treatments. This is what the surgical kit permits us to, and we're going to give him 250 milliliters of saline. We can do a full heal personality kit, but that's just because of the things I have set on here. In actual server, you probably wouldn't be able to do that. We're just going to check his pulse again, make sure he's not like dropping over dead on us. See, so he's pretty good. His heart rate's increasing a little bit, but that's probably just because he's in pain. And because his blood pressure's up, so he's got he's still got a fair amount of blood in him. We're going to give him some morphine as well. And now that that's all done, now we can finally focus on stitching. So the reason why you stitch, and this is how you tell that it needs to be stitched normally, is because if the person moves around too much or anything else like that, and you haven't stitched them, their wounds are going to reopen. So we're going to have to stitch that to seal the deal, shall we say. Now we're going to do his arm. Torso always goes first. Torso and head, most important ones. Primarily just because if you lose bandages on that and you don't have any more for the legs and arms, you can just resort to using the tourniquet. On the other hand, if you've wasted it all on the limbs and then you don't have enough for the actual torso, you're screwed. There's no way you're going to make it out of there with that guy alive. So that's basically how you use CSE Medical on just an injured person. I think that's going to be pretty much a demonstration for this one. I think I'm going to be setting up a part 2 sometime soon. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I expect to be back soon with the next video up on kind of how to deal with unconscious people in slightly more dramatic situations than just a few cuts and bruises. But obviously, that's what most likely you're going to be dealing with is cuts and bruises. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Capital out.